Gambling is a growing problem, especially in online spaces. From betting who wins the game tonight, to straight up betting on political elections, there is basically nothing that you can't bet on. It's becoming more and more normalized. I mean, look at how many apps and casinos are out there. It's almost as if it was some kind of... So while I think it's pretty obvious that I am not into sports, the sports gambling industry is the one that I associate with gambling the most. And for a good reason. These things are everywhere. I mean, sport channels, at least in the US, have people whose entire job is to talk about bets. And even if you only watch the game and ignore everything else, you will still see them. I mean, from what I can gather here, they look like the biggest sponsors ever. There are not only ads in between games, but also logos of these casinos are everywhere on the stadium and on the players. And the leagues obviously love it. I mean, these companies not only pay for the advertising, but also make every minute of the game count. Because now you no longer bet on who wins and who loses. Now you can bet on a single part of the game. You think that a player might underperform? You can bet on it. You think he will earn a set amount of points? Try to guess what you can do. Or you can just make the most schizo parlay you can. Parlays, by the way, are things that I believe get people the most. They are basically the lottery tickets of sports betting. They offer substantially higher rewards in exchange of a chance of it actually happening. It's the difference between predicting one thing and predicting 10 things in a row. But because of these higher rewards, you'll often only think about how much you can win, while forgetting that you probably won't. Even if you think it over perfectly and create the most foolproof bet, you will still most likely be close enough at best. Which is by design, by the way. And they also make people bet more. Even if you failed your first bet, there's often a lot of games still left. And since you already bet on it, why not again? Maybe you will get your money back. And this is why they are so dangerous. People often have this close enough mentality about it. If this time I was so close, I will definitely get it the next time. And I will bet even more to get my money back. That is the exact mentality that the casinos want you to have. You losing completely is against their best interest. If you lose it all, you won't come back because you will have negative feelings about it. But if you only lose some of the money, or you will be close to winning, you will most likely stay. Casinos actually prefer that you win a little bit, at least at the beginning. This way you have a positive association with gambling. And I will also mention that the positive association with subscribing to my channel does not come with debt attached. And there is also the obvious issue of game rigging. A couple of months ago, FBI arrested a couple of people for rigging the games and using insider information to gamble with. There is also this amazing ESPN clip when they realize the irony of having a gambling ad while talking about this.
Sports gambling is a huge part of what you do, so we put those all out there as a preamble because it might be in the back of people's minds, and we acknowledge that this is a different time and place.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
There are also fake sports whose entire purpose is to give people something to bet on. Search Party did a great video about it, but basically these things are played somewhere in Eastern Europe, and since sports betting is easier to win compared to other casino games, it's a great way to give people their confidence in gambling back. It's the whole let them win some, so that they lose more later kind of deal. And don't get me started on the abomination that is cheddar. They call themselves TikTok of sports betting. Yeah, I wish I was joking here.
This is Cheddar. We're building the TikTok of sports wagering.
Even better, they combine TikTok, Tinder and gambling to create the most obvious way to get teens into gambling. I mean, their own marketing even says so.
Legal in 20 more states than DraftKings. Accessible for 18 to 21-year-olds.
Also, I cannot really prove it, but it seems like the name was decided by Reddit. This app also showcases the way in which these casinos work. They are basically something called sweepstakes casinos. And the way they work is rather simple. You buy some useless coins or points that come with some free points that you can actually gamble with. It's a loophole that is used so openly that I am surprised that there are people who still don't know about it. I mean, a lot of very popular casinos use it, and lawmakers obviously know about it. I mean, they also profit from it, so I think it's pretty obvious why these laws weren't updated yet. Another big part of this gambling thing are the meme coins, which are probably the second weirdest thing for me, because with normal gambling, people realize that it's, well, gambling. but with meme coins, people for some reason assume that they are investment. It's not. I mean, regular investments can take a nosedive, sure, it often happens. But unlike these coins, it's not that often and not that big. Platforms like Pump.Fun made using these coins extremely easy. There is very little stopping someone from creating a random shitcoin themselves. Alright, not all of these coins are scams, but there are so many of them, and with everyone screaming that theirs is not a scam, it's pretty hard to guess what is and isn't legit. And alright, scams aren't always obvious, but if you put thousands of dollars into cam or fucking scam coins, that's on you. And the reason why I believe these coins are gambling is pretty simple. Most of the time they have zero actual value. And I know you can make that argument for about any currency, but I want to see someone try to buy food using these coins. And the aforementioned volatility. I mean, the entire point of these fiends is to put in your money and hope that you win it big and don't lose it all. And please remember that most people don't really earn that much on it. I mean, if you were to earn $10,000 on it, you would be in top 0.5% of the users. But I will let you decide whether or not this is gambling or just high-risk investment. You can also bet on about anything today. Platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket made it possible to bet on just about anything. You can bet on what someone will say. This is straight up degenerate behavior. These companies are making it so that every part of our lives is gamified. Can't people just have fun and live their lives without having to monetize everything that they do? These companies also say that this is not gambling, but instead trading contracts. This is so stupid that I don't really have any more to say about this. An important thing about gambling is that it starts at a young age. I mean, look at loot boxes for example. They are gambling no matter how much you look at them. CSGO, I think, is one of the most guilty games for that. And skipping the whole October 2025 thing, this is just introducing people into gambling. Especially at a young age, because Valve won't really ask you for your ID. Officially, it's not a casino, you can't exchange these things for money. Except buying a Steam Deck using Steam Funds, but that's neither here or there, and in the eyes of the law, Valve is clear. Or is it? I don't know, depends on the country, and there are a lot of ongoing cases currently, so I guess it's not that obvious. But anyway, the fact that they are outside sites that will buy these skins from you is not their problem. Profizilla has some nice videos about it, so go check them out. Gacha games are also a big thing when it comes to that. I mean, they bring so much money. And the biggest problem with video games, loot boxes and toys is the fact that they get children into gambling. Oh, right, I haven't even mentioned toys yet. So you know how Pokemon cards, Lego minis and these demons come in closed packets? Where you can't really see what's inside? Yeah, that can be considered gambling, because you are spending money for a chance to get something. And it's not like I don't know that from experience. All these cards didn't come from nowhere, you know? God, I spent so much money on it in the 3rd grade. But basically, things like this made sure that people won't have problem with gambling when they grow up and have actual money. And I see that all the time myself. While I was lucky enough to not get really into it when I was younger, some of my friends weren't. And now as young adults, they don't have any problem with gambling whatsoever. Luckily, they aren't problem gamblers yet, but it's still a fair amount of money that they are spending on it. And I can sadly see people going deeper into that rabbit hole. I mean, I often see people who think that gambling will make them rich. Yeah, like in real life, not online. But there is another reason for all of that outside of running a casino as a side gig. Because you see, gambling is really great for user retention. It makes it so that people have more attachment to the thing that they are doing. Because if there is only a small chance of winning, doesn't matter what it is, people will keep coming back. Why? Because it's honestly kind of fun. But that also brings us to the main point that makes gambling impossible to remove. It sometimes works. If you get lucky and quit at a perfect time, you will be richer. I mean, you won't get out at perfect time, because otherwise casinos would be way poorer than they are now. But I think you understand what I mean here. People who are addicted to gambling don't only play for fun. They play because they believe that one day they'll win it big. Their mindset is literally the image of the guy mining for diamonds. But even if they win, it doesn't matter. They will just come back to gambling. Problem gamblers see the money in a different way than normal people. If someone is already addicted, simple have self-control no longer works. This is what addiction is. It doesn't matter what you know about it. You will still do it. and people obviously overestimate their skill and luck. I mean, has anybody even looked into the odds of winning? Because it doesn't seem that way. Though to be absolutely fair, people who are good at probabilities probably work for these casinos themselves. There is also this infamous interview with this guy, where he has a lot of things to say.
I don't believe that there is an addiction to mobile betting any more than there is an addiction to utilization of your phone for any other reason.
The audacity of this guy to say it with an almost straight face. He knows he is lying. People are getting more addicted to gambling thanks to these apps. Most people who are now addicted to gambling wouldn't be if they didn't have a constant access to it, because otherwise they would have to go more out of their way to do it.
People that are irresponsible and that are anti-gambling, they would like to lump it all into some dynamic that is similar to the tobacco companies. I find that absolutely abhorrent and offensive. An industry that 9 out of 10 Americans believe is an appropriate entertainment form is being compared to something that kills people. That's not appropriate.
Well, but gambling addiction does lead to the most suicide attempts of any addiction. If you're talking about killing people.
Yeah, I mean, don't know that that's true.
Alright, while I do agree that gambling can be a form of entertainment, there is a lot more nuance than this. With more people, this industry should be more regulated, not less. And also please remember that back in the day, you could also say the same 9 out of 10 things about tobacco and smoking in general.
In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?"
So that argument kind of falls apart if you think about it. Most of gambling industry's arguments kind of fall apart when you think about them, to be honest. The only reason why this guy says all of that is so that they won't have the same thing happen to them as with tobacco industry. They obviously don't want regulation about them, because otherwise it will be way harder to do business. Also, what do you mean you don't know? The entire reason why this entire gambling thing is so popular is because you have all the data. These companies know how to influence people and they do it using that data.
Gambling addiction does lead to the most suicide attempts of any addiction. If you're talking about killing people.
Yeah, I mean, don't know that that's true.
I'm also pretty sure that they have a calculation somewhere to calculate on how much money they use due to, well, suicide. There are also some interesting things that these companies do to retain their users. Reminders are, I think, the simplest one here. Their job is to make sure that you remember to gamble tonight. They are obviously for retention, but they are often paired with different kinds of bonuses, especially when it seems like you are trying to leave. So when it seems as if you are leaving, these companies will give you free bets, free money, and stuff like that. Skipping the fact that they use this as tax write-offs, these things are done for two main reasons. The first one is to make it seem as if they care about you. See, we don't want everything from you. Here you have $200, go spend it and lose even more. But all of that is assuming that you are losing money, because as long as you are doing that, there is no end to these bonuses. But if you dare to win even a little too much, go fuck yourself. We don't want you here. And this is bad on many levels, but the fact that they don't want people who they show in their own ads, you know, people who actually win the beat, says a lot, I think. Before I go, I need to say that I am not against gambling as a concept. I mean, it can be fun and all, but there is a difference between having access to gambling and having it constantly advertised to your face. I think what was done to tobacco industry should be done here. You can still buy tobacco products if you want. Just go to the store, pick what you want, show them your ID, pay for it, and here you go, you have your product. But you don't really see anything advertising it. You only really see anti-smoking ads. I mean, in Poland they have to cover at least 65% of the packaging with warnings and these beautiful photos. People obviously still smoke today, but it is way less than it was in the 60s, 70s and even 80s, to be honest. And speaking of smoking, I want to remind you that most people who are into gambling are way more likely to get into other addictions as well. And also they are far more likely to file for a bankruptcy. I must also talk about people that promote gambling. So celebrities and streamers, they are a very big part of this whole thing. They are a thing that gives people the feeling of legitimacy. And they are 100% responsible for a lot of casino earnings. I mean, you don't get paid $100 million or $360 million for nothing. You definitely bought even more money for the casino. But also, as a side tangent, who watches these things? Why would you watch a guy spin a roulette for a couple of hours? I don't understand. But again, it's often done on kid, and people there are into some weird things, like watching criminal acts. And please remember that most of these celebrities and streamers don't lose any money while gambling. They are not only paid by casinos, but they often use casinos' money to gamble. So losing a couple million is not a big deal to them. And there is something that I simply must mention. And these are two words: personal and responsibility. They are thrown around a lot when it comes to gambling. And I kind of agree. I mean, in the end, the decision to gamble belongs to the person that gambles. That's true. But a huge part of responsibility comes from the casinos and people promoting them as well. They are the ones that show the huge amounts of money that you can get using these things. You can't show people only winning and earning huge amounts of money without expecting them to start doing it themselves. It just doesn't work like that. I also think that change won't be easy. For starters, people love gambling. I mean, Wall Street Bets is one of the biggest subreddits when it comes to finances. And there is a reason why these apps are so popular. I mean, I want to remind you that the illegal part of the industry brings in way more money than the legal one. People want to gamble. These things are way more normalized than you would think so. And there's also the fact that there is simply too much money on the table. I mean, these companies can spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a single person to promote them. And what about the taxes for the government? Basically anyone that can change things is getting money from them, in one way or another. And let me ask you a simple question. Would you promote gambling for $100 million? Because most people would. Everyone has their price and these companies can pay it. So because of that, no matter what experts and victims say, it doesn't matter. There is simply too much money on the table. So yeah, I hope that I am wrong about that, and that there will be more change. Some things are happening, but it's kind of slow, though all legalization is. But anyway, the links to all my socials are in the description, and please consider subscribing if you like the video. See ya, bye!